Welcome, everyone. Have you ever imagined what it would be like if superheroes really existed? Today, we're diving into a fantastic adventure with the mightiest heroes on Earth, the Avengers. Imagine all your favorite heroes like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk coming together to save the world. They're strong, brave, and super cool. What kind of dangers do you think they'll face? What amazing powers will they use? Stick around because we're about to find out how they team up and fight the baddest villains to keep us safe. Are you ready to see them in action? Let's go.
Recall, at the end of the Thor movie, Loki is seen being swallowed by an alien cat in 1995, but later she vomits him out onto Nick Fury's desk in the desert. This raises the question of how Nick Fury acquired the reactor. Just like we saw in the Captain Naval movie, where Dr. Eric explains to Nick Fury how he has already activated himself. Loki knows where the tax rate is. Therefore, Nick Fury becomes desperate, and it is shown that Nick Fury has become active in his life. No matter how many times we try to shut him down, he automatically reactivates. This leads to the opening of several portals, and many Lokis enter our world. Upon arriving here, he immediately gains control over Hawkeye using the scepter given to him by the diagnosis. He also wants to take Dr. Eric away from here using Nick Fury. But Loki refuses to allow that, saying he needs him. He says, "I will soon set you all free." By freedom, he means he plans to destroy the entire world. After this tension, he leaves alone from here, and Nick Fury understands that a great danger is coming. So, he goes to Captain America, Steve Rogers, and tells him that he knows about the T-Series. He wants Steve to send him to the Black Widow in the city of Kolkata, India. There, the solution is hidden away from the rest of the world. He works as a doctor there, and Hulk is also summoned for this mission. Now, Captain America and Black Widow meet in a palace, but in the next moment, the entire ship is blown away into the air. This is an advanced technology that makes the ship completely disappear from the world's view. On the other hand, Dr. Eric and Hawkeye are shown, who are now working for Loki. Both of them manipulate Hawkeye under Dr. Eric's control and tell him that they need iridium. This is a substance that emerges from a meteorite and is rarely found on Earth. Now Loki is given this substance. Dr. Eric tells him that they need iridium. They are building a machine for Loki that will open a hole in space. There will be a door from where the Chitauri army will come to our world and annihilate humans forever. Hawkeye tells Loki that if he needs iridium, he will have to go to Germany. Iridium will be available there. Loki's location is found using the shell. They find out that Loki is currently in Germany. He attends a party there and kills a man whose retina will unlock the scene containing iridium within him. Loki sends his minions ahead, which Steve discovers, and now Hawkeye finds him. This alerts the power to stabilize the runners who can now start intimidating humans here. He says, "Bow before me." But an old man refuses to kneel before Loki. He says, "I do not kneel to men like you." Loki strikes him with his weapon, but just then Captain America arrives and saves him. After that, there is a fight between Captain America and Loki. But when Iron Man arrives here, Loki cannot stand before both of them, and he is forced to kneel before them. Loki is now in their custody when they are about to take Loki to another place by plane. Suddenly the lights start flashing, and as they open the door of their plane, Thor appears there. The deity of lightning, Thor, takes his brother from there. Thor addresses him as brother and demands the tesseract Loki possesses, warning him of its dangerous nature. Loki refuses to comply, leading to a confrontation. Before Thor can strike Loki, Iron Man arrives and flies him away. Meanwhile, a fight ensues between Thor and Iron Man. Captain America intervenes, urging them to stop fighting and put their weapons down. Thor, unable to put his hammer down as he cannot set it on the ground, attacks Captain America. However, Captain America defends himself with his shield made of a precious metal, which creates shockwaves upon impact, causing Thor to be knocked back. Later, it is shown that Loki is now captured, realizing that they all have the same goal, retrieving the Tesseract. Thor explains the intentions of the Chitauri army, which aims to wage war against humanity upon their arrival on Earth, with Loki leading them. Here, Iron Man also arrives and reveals that Loki stole the iridium because he needs it to stabilize the power of the Tesseract. He explains that a vast amount of energy is required to operate the portal generator, which they can only obtain from the Stark Tower's arc reactor. This Stark Tower can generate energy for a year. Nick Fury arrives shortly after, informing everyone that the recent events are due to their defeat a year ago when they discovered the existence of extraterrestrial threats. This realization led them to develop dangerous weapons, as they realized there are beings beyond their world who could invade any time. Hawkeye is also present, completely under Loki's control. He detonates explosives on their flying helicarrier, causing one of the engines to malfunction. This angers Bruce Banner, and when he gets angry, he transforms into the Hulk and starts wreaking havoc all around. Essentially, Loki wanted Bruce Banner to turn into the Hulk so that he could destroy the entire aircraft, and when a fighter jet fires shots at the helicarrier, the Hulk leaps up and grabs it. He crashes the fighter jet, but he also begins to fall towards the ground. Meanwhile, it is shown that Loki has now become free and Thor confronts him, attempting to put him back in jail. However, Loki disappears with his magical powers, which was an unintended mistake. He ends up inside the jail again, closing the door behind him, and is dropped from the aircraft. He begins to fall rapidly towards the ground. But before he could crash into the ground, he is ejected out. Meanwhile, on the aircraft, Hawkeye fires his arrows, disabling the other engine of the aircraft. After this, Black Widow arrives and engages in a fight with Hawkeye. During the fight, Hawkeye sustains a severe blow to the head, causing him to revert back to his senses. This means he is now free from Loki's control. Meanwhile, Captain America and Iron Man are seen attempting to fix the engine of the aircraft. However, both engines are now shut down. Consequently, the aircraft starts plummeting rapidly towards the ground. But Iron Man begins to manipulate the control panels of both engines, causing one of them to restart. Meanwhile, Loki encounters Phil Coulson, a crucial agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He attacks and kills Coulson, taking the weapon intended for him, which had been sent by the Navy. From there, he makes his escape. Later, everyone mourns Coulson's death, and his demise brings all the superheroes together. This was Fury's plan all along. He wanted to assemble a team of superheroes, which he named the Avengers. Tony Stark realizes that Loki will head to Stark Industries because that's where he can find the energy he needs. When Tony Stark, or Iron Man, tries to blast him, he sees that Dr. Eric is there and has already started the machine containing the sand. Tony Stark attempts to blast it, but his computer informs him that it cannot be stopped now. Around them, there is a sturdy security wall, and after a few moments, a bright light emanates from it, opening a black hole in the sky, from which the Chitauri army begins to emerge into our world. All the Avengers engage in combat with the Chitauri army. Meanwhile, Thor is shown battling his brother Loki, trying to convince him that he needs to close the portal, which is allowing the Chitauri army to enter our world. Loki refuses, stating that it cannot be closed, and after a fierce battle between them, Loki manages to escape to save his life. However, his scepter is left behind, and now Bruce Banner is shown, arriving late. Just then, Iron Man brings a massive spaceship of the Chitauri army behind him. Piercing its armor is almost entirely impossible. Captain America tells Bruce Banner that now it's his turn. It's the right time. Bruce Banner, in his anger, declares that this is his secret. He is always angry. He then transforms into the Hulk and proceeds to smash the Chitauri spaceship with his fists. However, before the spaceship crashes, two more ships emerge from the portal due to continuous reinforcements of the Chitauri army into our world. Meanwhile, the Avengers continue to battle against them. Hulk then reaches the civilians and tells them that they need to kneel before him because they are gods, and the civilians are mere mortals. This angers Hulk, and he aggressively confronts Loki, knocking him unconscious. Dr. Erik Selvig is shown regaining his senses, having broken free from Loki's control, and he informs Black Widow that to shut down the Tesseract, they need Loki's scepter, which is lying some distance away. Nick Fury is shown receiving orders to launch a nuclear attack on Manhattan to destroy the Chitauri army and the machine generating the portal, risking the lives of everyone in the city. However, Nick Fury objects to this plan because Manhattan is densely populated, but his objections are ignored by the higher command, who are unwilling to put the entire world at risk. Therefore, a fighter jet takes off from there. The S.H.I.E.L.D. ringman informs Iron Man that the area where he is, namely Manhattan, is about to be hit by a nuclear attack very soon. A countdown has begun. Iron Man's suit's power is almost depleted, but he still flies towards it. As the missile is about to be launched, it is suddenly released, and Black Widow now has Loki's scepter. She informs everyone that she can shut down the portal, namely the Test Red. Iron Man objects to her doing so, saying that a missile has already been launched. It will reach Manhattan in a minute, but he knows where it's headed. He catches the missile and redirects its trajectory. As the Chitauri army is about to invade our world, he enters the missile like a bullet and manages to divert its course towards the Chitauri mother ship, causing a massive explosion. As a result, all the Chitauri soldiers on Earth start falling. Natasha manages to shut down the portal with Loki's scepter, causing Loki to lose control. However, before it completely shuts down, Iron Man emerges from there, but now he can't fly. So, he starts falling continuously towards the ground. But before Hulk collides with the ground, he catches him, saving his life. As a result, his life is spared. After this, we see that Thor has taken people captive and is taking them, along with a new sire, back to their world in the Asgardian Guard. Both sires return to their world with the power of the Tesseract. Meanwhile, all the Avengers have also returned to their respective lives. Then, in the post-credits scene, we see the leader of the Chitauri army confronting Thanos. He tells Thanos that they lost the war against humans, just as Loki had claimed that humans are weak and cowardly. That's not the case at all. Facing humans with bravery is a challenge. Even in the face of death, they confront it with courage. We catch a glimpse of a smile on Thanos' face. And with that, the story concludes here.